My name is Blonde, James Blonde. Felix Darker, our friend in the States, has warned us of a potential attack on a local racing circuit in the southeast of England from the international crime organization Sim Racing Alliance. My mission, if I choose to accept it, is to determine if SRA has the speed and skill to carry out such an attack. I'm going to have to kiss a lot of beautiful women to get to the bottom of this, but it's worth it for king and country. But till then, what we know is this week's race is full of aces. It's race night. You know what we're going to do? We're going to light them up. Thank you, Dominic. Ugh, that's terrible. I said shaken, not stirred.
Welcome back to the beginning of another Sim Racing Alliance season. It's been a long break, and we're back.
It's been quite a long break, and I think you, me, and everybody involved with tonight's action is super excited to get going.
So they got a straight fight the rest of the night. He's going to have to make a move. That's a Punterino.
Serious pressure from Boostra. Trying to switch on the inside. Sweeney goes on the inside for the defense. Oh my goodness, right in between.
He's going to dive to the inside of both of them. They're going to go three wide corner.
And we're off and away for SRA.
Good evening, race fans. Welcome to an SRA event, our Division 1 race, Week 5, Season 9 here at Brands Hatch. We're excited about this race this evening. Should see some great battles between our Division 1 contestants once again. And I'm excited to be here with my friends in the booth, Andrew Anderson and Maxie Poe. Andrew, what are you excited about tonight?
You know, the Battle of Hastings took place not too far from here, and they say that there was like a 50% casualty rate at Battle of Hastings. I don't think we're going to get that tonight, but it might be closer than you expect. So that's where I'm standing. What do you think, Maxie?
You know, last night in that race, overtaking was pretty much non-existent, and then seeing the different strategies play out with this 25-second mandatory pit stop we're going to see tonight. I'm anxious to see how these drivers and how different pit strategies. Really excited to see how this plays out tonight.
All right. Sorry about that, folks. Sounds like Maxie's microphone's having a little bit of issues. Hopefully we can get that resolved. But glad to have you with us, Maxie, and hopefully we'll get that figured out. And with that, we're going to move on to taking a look at our track map tonight. We are at Brands Hatch, as we said, in Kent, Great Britain. And we're just under 4 kilometers, just under 2.5 miles around. There's only 9 turns, but it sure feels like there's constantly a turn on this track. As Maxie was alluding to, if you could hear him, was there's a lot of, or not a lot of, overtaking opportunities on this track. It is a very difficult track to overtake on, so qualifying is going to be extremely important. Turn 1's pretty sketchy, but you can get an overtake done into there. Also in turn 2 with the hairpin there, but it's, again, kind of sketchy. Andrew, where's your favorite place to try to get around a guy on this track?
I don't have a favorite place to get around on this track, but what I'm looking at is not early in the race, but late in the race. Over at Sheen, that's turn 7 kinda, but Sheen Curve, that's a fast place that people like to try to get a look, and I think we're going to get late in the race. Somebody's going to have to make a move, and somebody's going to pick Sheen Curve, and like I say, it's going to be like the Battle of Hastings. Somebody's going to fall off their horse.
No doubt about it. We might see some action. Maxie, let's see if your mic's working now. What do you think about the track tonight?
All right, can y'all hear me first and foremost?
Yeah, we can hear you.
There you go.
All right, good deal. So as far as the track goes, I'm really looking at the top of turn 5. It's blind as you turn in. And if somebody has a little bit of an off there and they're rejoining the track, it's going to throw you off down to that very important hairpin. So that's really where I'm going to be looking at for drivers to be trying to force that mistake from the person they're overtaking. I think that's where the action will be at tonight.
All right, well said, well said. With that, let's take a look at our driver's standings. And I believe we have Ed Kerstetter out front now, but he has been caught a little bit, quite a bit, closed the gap actually. So just you might be a little confused by glancing at this, that there's quite a bit of movement in the points. So at this point, the points have been adjusted for the drop race. So that's why there's a huge amount of movement on the leaderboard. But you can see Ed Kerstetter cut down to only a 6-point lead after that drop race was added. I'm not sure what race Nordstrom dropped, but it got him way up there in the points. And Michael Manning's right there behind him. Jordan Nixon not too far back as well. Mr. Sir bringing in 5th place. So we could see quite a bit of battle here for the rest of the season for the top spot. Anybody else? What do you think? Who are you looking out for on the leaderboard?
2 BMWs.
Last night in the practice race, those Porsches looked hot. So anybody driving a Porsche tonight, it looks like they're in for a good shot tonight.
No question. And not to forget our drivers lower in the standings. Have a quick look at them. Maybe your favorite driver's in there. Get a good look at his points. Patrick Rust is down there. Austin Carpenter, I was just watching him in practice. He was looking clean tonight. Yeah, Coadromo could definitely make a comeback. He's very quick in that Audi. So let's take a look over at our teams. All right, so we do have Ed Kerstetter and Jeff Spangler out front in the Madhouse Racing This Is Beer team, but now adjusted down to only a 26-point lead over Drive Bimmer Room with Jeremy Mercer and Jordan Nixon. And then only 54 points back from him are Michael Griffith and Travis Nordstrom in the Sharks Comic Racing team. And they are in the Porsche tonight, so they're a team to watch out for. The Porsche seems to be very, very quick on this track, and we are excited to see what kind of competition they are going to bring us. And with that, we have our qualifying session up and live, so let's flip over to our race scene and take a look at some of these drivers in action. We have cars out on track. Andrew, what are you looking at tonight?
So we got a couple of minutes while these guys are getting some banker laps in. It's pitch black out there. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I can't verify that my clock even has a 4 a.m. on it. But let's go real quick, and then let's all just kind of pile in and talk about these crazy corners. Paddock Hill Bend is up a hill, down a hill. It's not cambered either way. It's just awful. And you've got Druids is a place that's actually as normal of a quarter as you get, except for Sterling's at this track. But that's where all the action's at. Graham Hill Bend is down a hill and to the right, to the left rather. You can run up that hill in a second, and Graham and actually the turn 4 is there's no groove there. It's almost cambered backwards. And I'll let y'all carry on with the rest of them. There's not a normal place on this whole track.
No doubt. We just came out of turn 4. We're riding along with Zeidler here, and we're going into turn 5. This is a very high-speed turn-in corner here, and carrying your speed through this corner is very difficult. It's so easy to run wide there. You think you got the speed just right, and you don't. And then trying to find the apex on this one as well, turn 6, is also very difficult. Even harder, finding the apex on turn 7, because it's a totally blind turn-in point. And Maxie, what about the rest of the track here? Walk us through it.
Yeah, so as I was alluding to a little bit earlier, this is the hairpin that I believe there's going to be some really good overtaking opportunities going into it, and then coming out of it. This corner right here, you want to be carrying as much speed as you can down this main straight and getting a good overtaking opportunity up here into turn 1. And if you plan it just right, you can stick the guy on the outside here as we see the car going wide over there. You might be able to push him out into the gravel and get that overtake done. No question.
As Andrew, as you were saying, a lot of these corners, you get out of the main groove, you get to the outside a little bit, and it's all off camber out there. You suddenly can't go half as fast as the guy on the inside.
Yeah, watch this. Here we go on the screen here. where it's off camera. You can see it in the camera. It's off camera.
Yeah.
And where's the groove at? I mean, you get too far in, you get oversteer. Too far outside, you're in the grass. I don't like any of it.
Yeah, no question. It's I'm not sure 100% very well on the history of this track. Andrew, you might know better, but that corner is actually, so in the short version of this track, the cars actually kind of go straight there and then make a right turn. So I don't know if this part of the track that we're watching right now was added later, the higher speed section. And so linking that corner in, it's just not a very smooth corner. Like it's an added on part of the track. That's exactly what it feels like in that corner too.
No, I think they built them both around the same time. But it still doesn't work. It's off camber. But more than half the corners of this track are off camber. I don't think that really bothered those who were developing this track. I think this was probably, I didn't go look it up. Brands Hatch's pre-war probably. So I don't think they weren't making this for fast high horsepower cars.
I would definitely have to agree with you there. And there's no typical long airstrip, which most British tracks were built around. There's no long straight here, so it definitely feels pre-war to me.
Yeah, it's definitely an old track, no question about it. Now, speaking of people making laps here, though, these guys are not having a problem with the off-camber corners. The Porsches and the Beamers, as I talked about pre-race here, they are quick around this track. We got 2 Beamers and a Porsche out front right now. Walker putting in the fastest time so far with a 1:23.460. Riley right behind him with a 1:23.505 in the Porsche. Mr. Good there is just 500ths off of him in another BMW. So the McLaren seems to be suffering at this track. I don't know if it's the added weight that's slowing it down or what, but I drive the McLaren, and I felt like I was getting walked past on the practice rate Monday night. It could be a skill issue too, but I'll tell you what, I feel like these Porsches and Beamers are going to be the strong car tonight. What do you guys think?
I definitely feel the same way because, like you, I drive the McLaren in the team series, and last night in that practice race, I just had nothing down the straightaways for those Beamers and those Porsches. And that's typically not the case when we think about the Porsche. The Beamer is always typically being good in a straight line, but to have a Porsche pretty much walk you down on the straight and have the overtake done before you get into the corner is a little alarming. So I'm thinking these Porsches probably can be at the top here.
Well, so we got about 2 minutes left here on our silver guys, and they're already down in the mid 123s and such. But so for those that are new, we have a BOP that's been applied to these cars. The Lamborghini as well as the McLaren have got 40 kilos of Bolivian marching powder added to their passenger seat. The Porsches, I think, are straight up, and so since they have such grunt coming out of the corners anyway, even though they like the top end speed, they're already on it way faster than everybody else is, so they can get the pass done. Porsches and BMWs, I think, as our guys have said, they're what to look at. Just as we do that, John Crown ends up taking pole at. I think I stand corrected.
Yeah, he upped his pole lap actually, and now Sadler comes and stomps back on it with a 0.2 faster lap. That's very quick in the Porsche again.
Watch Dan Cran. Dan Cran is staring down a front row finish if he will just finish the lap. He's looking good.
Very quick in that Audi. Here comes to finish his lap. He should jump up. It doesn't look like he moved a position though. Interesting. I would have thought for sure he had moved up right there, but
I would say Lehman is up 0.4 right now, and he's 0.5 off pole. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and it looks like he's improving right now. So.
He's very quick, coming to the end of his lap here. Oh yeah, he dumps all the way to second place, just barely off first place, about 0.1 there. And we're gonna have another tight decider here for the silver qualifying. Some of the guys that are towards the second half of their lap right now, I would say actually all of these guys will probably get 2 more laps at it. So 2 more tries because it's a shorter lap here. They can get it done in under 1.5 minutes. So We might even have guys getting 3 more shots at a hot lap, and we'll see where they all end up. That's why we're here. Williams put in, down here in the BMW, put in the fastest second sector so far. But he is not doing so hot on this lap. He's not very much up on the Delta. I'll tell you who is right now. It's Fazli Majid, who just jumps into the pole position with a 1:23.045, about 0.2 faster than the current fastest lap. And he decides to pull over. That's his best effort. He's done. And he decides that might be enough. We will find out if it is.
I kept telling you to watch the Aston Martins. Been telling you all week, watch the Aston Martins.
Who doesn't like to watch an Aston Martin? I know James Blonde likes to watch Aston Martins.
There you go.
Y'all, he just got that pole lap and did not set a single purple sector.
Wow.
He did not.
All of the purple sectors looks like coming from Porsches.
Yeah, so he just put together 3 good sectors and no outstanding sectors. So that's pretty interesting that he was just consistent through the lap, and that's what got him to pole position there. Let's see, who else is making inroads to getting a faster lap put down? We got some guys towards the back. Stefiak's back here doing one. Oh, he lost a little bit of time there. Riley is coming back. He's about a 10th up on his lap right now. If he can maintain this, oh, he gained a bunch of time through this corner as well. Well, he did at the apex, but now he's dialing back out of it. Got a couple corners left here. Let's ride on board as he finishes his lap. Oh, sorry, he just started.
Saved a lot of time here.
Fozley really going to take pole?
We'll find out.
He sure is. I don't know. Riley is speeding up.
Yes. Yeah. He was at 3/10 and then lost it there. Oh, into the main straight.
Having a good lap.
Come on, grip it, grip it. Put your foot through the firewall, buddy. Come on, push.
This turn-in is so tricky. Got the cut just right on the inside, run a little on the outside. You can actually gain grip by going over the curb out there. And this turn-in, oh, he gets it a little sideways, just keeps it on track. Still looking good through one more corner after this one. Good exit there. He's still holding about 15 hundredths up. Oh, he's down to a 1/10 up. If he gets a good final corner and a good run on the front straight, oh, he's losing time, but he's gaining it back. It's going to be tight, folks. Is he going to take it? No, he will not. He does improve its time, but does not take the pole. We do have gold drivers on the track now. That should be your standings for your silver drivers that you see on your screen currently. And we are going to flip over and take a look at these gold drivers as they begin their first hot laps. We have guys going into the front straight now to begin their hot lap as they have already completed their warm-up laps.
Release the hounds.
Indeed.
They do that around here, you know.
What's that?
Here in southeast England in Kent, they definitely release the hounds for some fox hunting.
So we're riding on board with O'Brien right now. Let's take a look at his scheme from the outside. Looking good this evening in the Lamborghini. And he is quite a bit up on his previous endeavor. But again, these are their first hot laps. So we're not expecting really, really fast laps yet. But as we know, these D1 guys always like to surprise us with the amount of speed they can get out of the car immediately.
While they're warming up, let's think about front engine versus rear engine or mid engine at this track. If the silver guys tell us anything, we've got Aston Martin. These drivers are pretty good though. We got Aston Martin with 2 BMWs and a Mercedes in the top 6.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. I would have thought you needed a mid-engine or rear-engine car, like Porsche's mid. We'll call them all mid-engines, just for the sake of it. I would have thought they'd have been so much better at this track, and I would have thought the front-engine cars would have been really bad handicapped. So much I even took a couple of laps in a couple of front-engine cars this afternoon, just kind of to see what I thought about it. Man, they just kind of pushed like dump trucks. These guys have got 3 makes of front-engine cars. toward the front when it comes to the silver guys. Let's see what the gold guys do.
Oh my goodness, Nordstrom comes right out and stomps down a 1:22.9 on his first hot lap. Very quick. Making a statement.
Third is not going to be too far off of 122, and he might take provisional pole.
Yeah, he's looking good right now as well. Let's ride on with him as he gets about halfway through his lap here. Coming out of what I consider one of the trickiest corners on the track right there, at least to get fast through. It's real easy to lose the back end, come out of there, and then lose a bunch of time going down this little straightaway into this right-hander.
It definitely tempts you into taking more speed than you're allowed to make the corner, that is for sure. But as Andrew was just talking about, they're in the Aston Martin in a front engine car. It's up about a half a second right now.
He's looking very clean through the second part of the course. That might have been real close to a track cut there. It looks like he's still on a valid lap, though, according to our telemetry. Oh, jeez, if he's still valid there, that's super tight to the edge. He is very quick, though. He's up almost a half a second right now over his previous best, which would put him firmly in a pole position. Let's see where he ends up. Yes, sir, he will improve by about half a second, and that will put him in second place. Just barely, with a 100th off of the pole with a 122.835.
I'm just laughing. You guys driving sub 23s here. If I drove the Indy course, I wouldn't be cutting sub 23s here. Hey.
Yeah, these guys are super quick, no question about it. We are privileged to get to watch this race. Jeff Spangler is also making some really good laps right now. He is making that McLaren work around this track. He's 3/10 up right now on his lap, which would put him in pole if he can carry that speed to the end. How he's getting that McLaren to go that fast around this track, I really have no idea, and that's why I'm not a D1 driver. Oh, gets very loose coming out of that corner. Lost quite a bit of time down this short little straight in the final corner. Let's see if he can hold it going on to the front straight.
Yikes.
Both him and Mr. Sir are up quite a bit on their lap, which would put them ahead of Nordstrom on the pole. But Spangler did not improve enough right there to get. He is closer in third place, but not in the top spot.
Well,
Mr. Sir does take
straight
the
to the
pole.
top. Wow.
Another
22.6 around this track is
smoking
just
fast.
absolutely has got to be on the limit of what those tires can achieve.
Look at that. You know, if you've been with us the whole season, you've seen that Jeff Spangler had just an absolutely awful first couple of races, but he's been able to drop one of those. If y'all noticed, he's back up to what, 6th or 7th in points. So he went from being just a nobody in points, so all of a sudden he's
fighting for the win.
Home.
Yeah.
We're back.
Nixon just put in a fantastic lap as well, finishing out your second row there with Nixon right now. Nordstrom is on a hot lap right now that could overtake Sir for the lead, but Sir is also putting in a better lap. So we have a pretty good battle on our hands here, folks, for the final pole. We got about 3 minutes left here. Guys could get in 4 or maybe even 5 more hot laps here, depending on how their lap falls with the finish time. Mr. Sir is 30 hundredths up on his best, and he's already at a 122.6.
Wow. Nordstrom right now, 4/10 up, which would put him 2/10 clear and pole.
Here he comes to the line. Yeah, Nordstrom takes the pole.
And Sir with identical lap
Oh
times.
my gosh, and Nordstrom got it just before he did. So he has the provisional pole with matched lap times again on our pole position of a 122.395. Incredible.
Yeah, they got 2 to go.
Yeah, they still could duke this out, folks. It's not over.
They're just getting started.
Yeah, they're just getting the tires fully warmed up here. Another person that I talked about tonight that's mighty quick and is putting in a decent lap right now is Codromo. He did lose some time coming out of that corner that we talked about. Easy to lose time out of that corner down this little straight into this fast right-hander, and that's what happened to him right there. Another person whose name I'm going to get correct tonight, Michael Manning, is he's about 3/10 up on his hottest lap, sitting in 6th position right now.
And Dudley, I just want to bring some attention to Manning here. He improved 4 tenths last lap, and he is up roughly about 5 tenths right now.
Yeah.
He's found some speed in that Honda.
No doubt. That Honda seems to be coming to life later in the qualifying session. Our track did start out fast, I believe, and has now hit optimum status. So we will have slightly higher grip levels here at the end of qualifying with the track rubbering in and these guys laying down some hotter laps. It does look like Manning just invalidated that lap, unfortunately, because he was about a half second up. He will get one more shot at it, more than likely, here, as long as he crosses the start-finish line before it hits 0 on our timer, which we're about 1 minute away from that.
Yep.
Romo here on another good lap as well, up almost 3 tenths, which would put him into the top 5 if he can keep it together.
No doubt, he is putting together a good lap. Nordstrom looks to be trying to go even faster out at the pole as well. But yeah, let's watch him throw the Audi through these final corners here. Coadromo we're on board with. He is, 3 tenths up. He could move all the way up to 5th or 6th place with that lap and be finishing or getting into our row 3 drivers. Yeah, he's maintaining.
Yep.
If he can get a good final corner here, he will have a very decent starting position. Oh, he gains time through the corner, gaining time down the front straight. He's going to finish almost 4 tenths over his previous best. And sure enough, that drop jumps him all the way to the 2nd row, 4th place.
And for those scoring at home, there are 4 or 5 Lamborghinis in the field, and those right now are qualified 12th, 28th, 29th, 35th, and 38th.
Nordstrom did improve his time for the pole, so he is no longer tied with Mr. Sir. Both of them have headed to the pits and called it quits for the qualifying session. With Nordstrom on our provisional pole, I don't really see anybody coming to challenge him. Manning did jump to 3rd now, so kicked Dromo out of the 2nd row and got himself on the better position of the 2nd row in 3rd, and he calls it quits for the day. It looks like that's going to be our standings, folks. And what a pretty, I mean, if that was qualifying, it was action-packed enough. Geez, what's the race going to be like?
I don't know if I can take the rest of this. Yeah, I think, well, I don't know if it's going to be like this in D1. I think in all the other divisions, I don't even know if you're racing the other drivers. I think this is man versus track. I think the track's that difficult. I think that I think that an hour of pounding over those curbs with the weights going the wrong direction, off camber. I just think that this is man versus this is mono a tracko tonight.
No doubt. It is definitely a track to be reckoned with. It's something that you can hot lap around, and racing around it is another story. Well, we're ready for our grid walk, folks. We have our grid set for round 5 of our season 9 Division 1 race. Let's count them down. Who's got the helm tonight? Maxie?
All right, let's do this. Starting off in pole position, that beautiful Porsche, we have Nordstrom. Alongside him in that front engine Aston, we have Sir. Coming back to our winner last week, we have Manning in the Honda. And then we have Spangler in a McLaren. Let's see how you can do in the race tonight. Dromo coming up in the Audi with a great lap there to get a top 5 starting position. Moving down to Mercer in P6. And Nixon in P7, both in Beamers. We have Barrera in P8 and Fleminger here in another McLaren. So we got an all McLaren 4th row here. All right, moving on down our grid here, we have another Aston Martin with Mahid. Coming down to our first Mercedes of the night with Quigg. 12th place and another beautiful Porsche here with Griffith. P13 in the first of the Lamborghinis, we have O'Brien. Moving on down to P14, we have Riley. P15, we have Wilson tonight. P16 is Vasquez. P17, we have Ziedler. P18, moving on down to Micah. P19 tonight, we have Walker starting in the Beamer. P20, we have Lehman. 21st here in another Honda, we have Duran. 22nd, we have Good. 23rd, Cran. 24th, Spect. 25th, Louis. 26th, we have Crown. Moving down to Robinson in the next Lamborghini. Simmons in the Porsche. Diaz in another Lamborghini. Williams in the Beamer. Escorcia in the McLaren. Semedo in another McLaren. Carpenter in the McLaren. Durant's in the Audi. Moving down to P35 tonight, we have Schwartz. 36th, Vicini in the Porsche. Velez in a McLaren. Stefiak here in the Lamborghini, and Ryder in the McLaren. And gentlemen, as we did that grid walk, I could not help but notice the number of Lamborghinis we have towards the back of the field, and I just can't help but think the balance of performance weight that they're having to carry tonight has really affected them.
Yeah, no question. I think the BOP is has a large part to play on this track, which is kind of surprising because I would think the BOP would have more effect on tracks where you would have the longer straights and situations like that going on. But it's pretty interesting that on this shorter track, getting out of the corners, that weights really seem to affect the cars in different ways. And we're going to see how it all plays out tonight. Should be extremely interesting as we focus on our leaders now, starting out on our formation lap. We have Travis Nordstrom, as we talked about, took that pole position. At first was tied with Sir right behind him, but then eventually went just a tiny bit faster, and we'll see what they do right off the start. We could have a battle into T1 right off the bat.
Yeah, we also need to note that the part of the puzzle this week is turn 1, you're staring right into the sun for at least 20 minutes. So you can't see the apex of turn 1 under any conditions. You can't even wear enough sunglasses to see that apex. So these guys are dead blind in turn 1. Thank you to the race directors for making the time of the race at 6 a.m.
Yeah, with the 4 a.m. qualifying and the 6 a.m. race, it definitely throws a different aspect from our normal racing times. And you're right, that sun glaring you in the face coming into T1, it is a factor, no question. And I've found this track also, for some reason, your windshield gets pretty dirty right off the bat, and you start getting the dust reflecting the sun glare, and it makes it very difficult to see a couple laps in coming into T1.
Well, I think our race director is now the Marquis de Sade for making such a mess of this. But they're beginning to they're about to form up side by side. So take us home, guys.
Yeah, here they come side by side, forming up for the start of the race. Our race directors have been doing a great job picking out tracks this season to make things challenging, and I'm looking forward to another challenging race for our drivers tonight. Travis Nordstrom out front, Mr. Sir in second place, our last week winner Michael Manning in third. He'll be making a challenge for the lead as well, as they come on to the front straight and get ready to go. Maxie, quick thoughts before we get going.
Watch T1.
All right. Keep your eyes on it, folks. They're not going to be able to see very well coming in there. Here we come down the front straight, side by side. We are ready to go racing. SRA is getting underway for round 5, Division 1 racing at Brands Hatch. Here we go for season 9. And they're off. Nordstrom gets a great jump right off the line, takes it very clearly into T1. Manning alongside Sir. He might get him for second place. Oh, they're alongside. He's going to maybe hold inside for the hairpin. Let's take a look. Oh, he gets a little later on the braking. Can he hold the inside? Just barely, and he does. He squeezes to second place. Great driving by Manning there to overtake Mr. Sir. The rest of the field seems to have made it through. I don't see any caution flags flying up, so we seem to have a clean start, which is a good thing at this track. It's very difficult to do.
Wow, clean start. I think we all had bet on loads of incidents and carnage in turn 1, and there's one spin, and that's about it.
Yeah, it looks like Schwartz went off back there. Kind of almost looks like he might have just lost it by himself in T1. Our leaders are still on track, looking good. We got a yellow flag here with, he's falling so fast down the order, I can't even get clicked on him. Looks like he got a little wide. Let's see if we can go back real quick and see what happened. Looks like he was trying to go side by side with Who's that? Car 6? Oh, yeah, and just kind of, I don't know if he got tapped or if he just kind of lost the back end through there. But regains it on the track and loses some positions, but gets it back on the track fairly safely there, so that's good. Checking in.
All right, the race is afoot, guys.
No doubt. Checking in back up front. We're through T1 again. Nordstrom in the lead. Manning close behind. Sir not going to give up on that second position, I wouldn't think. I know he wants it back. The question is, can he take it?
It'll be interesting to see because the balanced performance that we're running here, the Honda is running its normal 0 kilograms of added weight here. Can he track down that Porsche that has actually had some weight reduced?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Also interesting tonight, as we mentioned briefly earlier, there is a special pit strategy or forced pit strategy for this race, so that you are forced to take at least 1 liter of fuel, and you also are going to be stationary in the pits for 25 seconds. So we're going to see, our driver's going to take that extra, 25 seconds is right on that spot where, well, it's going to cost me 5 more seconds than that to take tires. So do I take the tires? Do I save the 5 seconds because track position is king here? It's going to be real curious to see what guys decide to do. Is that 5 seconds worth driving around on some slightly worn tires for the rest of the race?
Judging by the pace of the D1 drivers and them setting, sub 24 laps in race pace, I think they're going to want to take the tires. I don't think they will be able to survive an entire 60-minute race at the pace that these guys are pushing the tires.
Speaking of pace, sorry, go ahead.
I think they're all taking tires. And on top of that, it's going to be even saucier because nobody wrecked in the first corner. Nobody's got damaged. Nobody's coming in early. So I think that everybody's waiting until the 30-minute mark. They're going to come and get those tires. It's going to be an all-out shootout to the end.
I think you're right. I think that would be my strategy if I was pushing the tires this hard. We did start 39 drivers tonight, and we still have 39 drivers on the track. Everybody is looking well, although we get a little action back there. Looks like Dromo took a little scenic route there off the side of the track for just a moment, but he got right back on and didn't even lose much time, it looks like. Speaking of speed, though, our first and second place are tied for the purple lap right now with a 1:23.4 after only doing a couple of laps around the track. Their second lap in race trim is a 1:23.4. I think these guys have also gone a little light on fuel for the start because you're going to use that 25 seconds, 30 seconds to get tires. You might as well take some fuel during that time too, right, guys?
Absolutely. There is no penalty for taking fuel during that period. ACC, if you take tires, you will be in the pits for 30 seconds, but you can simultaneously fuel the car. So depending on if these guys started with a heavier fuel load or a lighter fuel load, is going to come to light here, I'd say, in the opening 15 to 30 minutes of the race.
We're going to know pretty quick, but I don't see the big difference in lap times right now. I think just about everybody, if not everybody, is on the strategy to take tires. The big question is, what's the tire degradation like? I think tire degradation is big.
I absolutely agree. After doing the practice race last night, as most people know, the practice race is only 30 minutes. Within 15 minutes, you can start to feel the car wanting to push wide, and after 20 minutes, you're begging your crew chief for some new rubber.
For Mr. Feelgoods.
Yes, sir.
No question. It's definitely going to be exciting to see if this almost forced tire change, does this make the drivers battle a little harder, or is it, do guys try to do the endurance thing? I know that's what won Manning the race last race, was staying out, maintaining track position, setting consistent laps, and not changing his tires. Now, Kerstetter, who is very much absent in our race tonight, made a good run at him towards the end, but ultimately ran out of time. His tires made his car quicker, but he ran out of time to make the overtake. So
he missed it by 1 lap. and that the tire degradation isn't near as bad at that rain race as it is here. Even though they had a few minutes of dry, I don't think the deg's near as bad last week as it is this week. Well, I just don't think you can do it. We'll find out. We'll see if any. I would have thought somebody that was would have gone long on tires would have dipped in for the big fat undercut. Nobody dipped in for it. I think everybody's going half and half.
Yeah, I think that would be the strategy. I brought up the picture-in-picture down there in the corner there, folks, and you can see in that picture while we're riding on board here, you're going to start to see just how bad the visibility is in some parts of this track. It is interesting, like right here, even down the whole front straight, you're really kind of seeing through a fog. I've noticed another thing though, which is another element that I think makes sim racing interesting, although some purists would say, well, it takes away from the immersion factor of the fact of it trying to simulate a real race. If you play with your graphics settings, you can take away a lot of that blindness that you end up getting from the sun reflecting through your windshield. Even though it looks spectacular, you actually would turn the graphics settings down and you wouldn't have all that light occlusion happening on your windshield. And some guys might take advantage of that. So they might not be having as much vision problem as we're having there in our pip currently.
Hey, while you have the picture-in-picture up, I'm going to switch over to Nordstrom's wing camera and just look how close they come under braking through this section. And you know Nordstrom has got to be feeling this pressure because he's been under, let's see here, the entire race within a half a second back to third. So they have been glued to each other the entire race.
All right, now second and third are within a click of each other. They're side by side. They got to be side by side. Let's see. I guess they're not. I'm looking at the our race control software, and it shows they are both 0.4 of a second back from Travis Nordstrom.
Adam recommends sunglasses to defeat the sun glare, but
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that doesn't work in a sim. I've tried it. It doesn't quite do it.
You have to put the glasses in the monitor.
Yeah. We are battling now for the fastest lap, too. These guys are already into the 122s, folks, in race trim, running high 122.9 laps. For a minute there, Jeff Spangler took away the best lap with a 122.997, but now Manning has taken it back again with a 122.957. That's how close the times are. I mean, Spangler's in 5th place. Nordstrom and Manning are battling out for the lead, and they're they're 3 thousandths off of each other on their best lap time, and you can see how close they are on track.
I think we're in for a real treat tonight.
Michael Manning is now putting the pressure on.
No question. Sir is catching up right there too.
He is having to simultaneously attack Nordstrom and then defend from Sir. Like I said last week, Manning has ice in his veins. Let's see what he's got here. If he can really go and challenge for that lead and potentially walk away from the field like he did last week.
Jumping back a little bit further real quick here, we got Nate Specht right on the bumper of Louis here, that Mercedes chasing down the McLaren. As we were talking, the McLarens do seem to struggle with a little bit of straight line speed on this course, and you can probably see it right here, that the Mercedes just kind of eats into the McLaren down to these faster sections. Oh,
we've got a yellow flag with
so
Ryder.
We got a yellow flag here. Let's see if we can see what happened with Ryder here. Looks like he cuts the curb there. Still fine through this corner. Looks like I might be missing a livery there. It might have been an update that I didn't get. Oh, just a little too much curb on that inside.
It is.
The margins are so close on this track. It's every corner has a place that tries to kill you. And unfortunately, most of the time, the results are catastrophic when you go off. He seems to have gotten back going again with no damage. Lost a few positions, but no harm after that.
I think that's right there at Dingledale, where we talked about around turn 7, where it's going to start getting saucy. People are trying to find some speed. They try to find it there. It looks like you can have some, but that's what you're going to end up with.
Yep, it's very difficult. It just a millimeter too much cut there, and you're in big trouble. And yeah, as I said, usually it ends with catastrophic results because the walls are fairly close right there. There's not a ton of runoff on this track. And if you get it sideways and are trying to trying to not lose time, trying to not just immediately slam the brakes and save the car, you are probably going to get into the wall if you don't get it reined back together.
And just to go ahead and clarify the speed difference, currently right now, fastest speed trap, Porsche is sitting at 241 kilometers an hour. The Honda is sitting at 245, and that front engine Aston Martin is at 248. I'm wondering if Nordstrom isn't running a little more downforce, and that's what's bringing these guys into play. But this is also going to help him take better care of his tires.
Well, let's think Aston Martin for a second. It's V8 twin turbocharged. You know, it's a drag every time you go to Monza. You got to go through Rettifilio. It's a drag every time you have to go somewhere with these little short, slow hairpin corners. But Brands Hatch doesn't have any of those. It's all fast, so that turbocharger never gets spooled down. He's on the turbocharger all the way around this place. So yeah, fast.
Looks like Mr. Sir here in the Aston Martin did lose a little bit of time to our leaders, but he seems to be clawing it back here during this lap. I didn't see what happened. Looks like we might have got a couple cars into each other back here further. Let's see if we can glance at what happened here. I got 2 yellow flags back here, but it looks like it may be the same section where we are having some issues with guys cutting just a little too much. Yeah, and as I said, that's so easy to get in the wall, and then sure enough, you bounce back on track, and it's catastrophic results, folks. Unfortunately, that's 2 drivers that are going to be hurting from some damage to their cars. I didn't catch who the second guy was, and we got another yellow flag here. Looks like, is this? Yeah. So was it Zeidler that got collected in that? Or was that another incident? Yeah, it was. So he kind of parked out there for a little while. It looks like he just kind of let the rest of the field go by rather than trying to rejoin, or I don't know if he stalled the car and was having trouble getting it moving again, but he has moved all the way to the back of the field after a very good qualifying. Unfortunate for him. Back up front, Mr. Sir has put in the fastest lap now after he gave the front guys a little bit room. He was actually able to go faster on that one lap than they are, so he has shown that he can go faster than these guys. The question is, could he ever find a place to get past them?
I guess I've still got my eyes on, on Westfield to Sheen to Sterling's. That's that kind of back half of the back part of the track. As the race goes on, you swear that's a place you can go find some time. It isn't there. I think that it's going to be patience and patience and patience. And these guys are showing it while staying fast. You just got to wait to get back on the gas. You can't stop it. You just can't here, no matter how much you want to.
Mm-hmm.
If we can draw our attention here back to 14th, 15th, and 16th, if you really want to ride on board and see how frustrating it is around this track to not be able to overtake somebody, Lehman here in his Mercedes has been all over the back of Walker. Walker has been loose out of corners, and he still cannot get around Walker at any point. And he's clearly quicker. It's just incredibly frustrating as a driver, and over 60 minutes, that'll wear on you.
No doubt. You can get frustrated and try to make an overtake that really isn't there. And Walker's backed up himself. A silver driver backed up behind the gold driver here. Wilson getting wide again with Audi, and he does get alongside of him. Oh my goodness, this is
contact there.
Yeah. Oh, our camera did not handle that well. Let's see if we can go back and take a look at what did result there with this situation as he gets alongside of him here. I think oh no, there it is. So he gets a little wide. They bump a little bit down this, and then he does overtake into that high-speed right-hander, which is very difficult to do. That whole section is just, your car's right on the edge, even without trying to drive next to somebody.
Yeah, your reward for getting through Westfield and Dingledale and Sheen is that you got the left-hander at Sterling's. And, you have to halfway get the grass. It's a normal corner, but you got to halfway get the grass coming in, halfway get the grass going out. Even it's not fair.
Wilson drops another couple positions as he got wide into T1, unfortunately. So
I think he is struggling with some tire wear because I used to drive the Audi, and that was the biggest sign that you were losing grip. Is it would refuse to slow down, and it would not trail brake as well as it had been. And he's lost 2 positions here on this lap.
Further back here, we got Vicini all over the back of Escorcia. He does pull out alongside of him here, where I was talking about. The McLaren loses a little bit of time on that short straightaway into this fast right-hander. It's so difficult to get it inside there, though, and feel safe and feel not like you're not going to just get taken out. And then he gets a little loose there, which allows the McLaren of Flamger behind him to take a look on the outside. All kinds of action further down the pack. This is for 27th place, but Jesus, it seems like they're battling for the lead with how exciting it is.
You know, we said we was going to give more respect to those silver drivers, and Fazli Majid is still running in the top 10 as a silver driver. You know, Walker Lehman running 14th, 15th, Dan Good running 19th. They're the top half. We've got one driver has retired. We had 39. We're at 38, and I can't figure out who retired.
I think it might have been.
Wasn't Schwartz.
No, it was whoever was sitting on the side of the track there after that accident who qualified well.
Yes.
And I can't think of his name, unfortunately. Apologies to that driver right now that we can't give you a shout out, but bummer that the race kind of got wrecked there with making contact with that car that was skidding back on the course. So we're looking at Mr. Sir, who is holding down 3rd place. His teammate, Fazli Majid, here is a silver driver holding down 9th place and trying to chase down. Looks like we got an overtake further up. We're going to jump to this real quick as Mercer gets around Spangler for 5th place. Again, that BMW it just goes faster, folks. Oh, and it looked. Oh, I see. It looks like Spangler made a mistake there and got out wide in the grass, and that gave. That gave gave Mercer the opening to slide alongside of him and take 5th position. He's into the top 5.
Lehman is in the pits. He is the first of our top runners that is going to be taking most likely tires. I'll keep an eye on this pit stop for you all.
There he is.
Yeah, 25 or 30.
Yeah, we're gonna have to check. So checking back in up front with our leaders while Maxie keeps an eye on that pit stop. Nordstrom out front, but boy, Manning is still right there on his bumper. Oh wow, he slid it through that corner, folks. Did you see that? That Honda drifted through that corner, and he just did lose some time right there with that little bit of a slide. But boy, he was right on the back of Nordstrom. He might have had some dirty air or something that got the car a little loose.
Wow, the way they go through Westfield just kills me. Look at that.
Yeah, they really throw it through there, don't they?
Golly.
All right, update on leaving here, gentlemen. 36 seconds stopped in the pit box. So could that have been missing his marks a little bit, or did he have some damage?
Maybe he just miscalculated the amount of, missed the mark maybe, and he maybe miscalculated the amount of fuel that he could take during the time of the tires. So some of these guys might have purposely started lighter on fuel. You know, he's pitting a little bit earlier. Maybe he started on really light fuel and decided to go to the heavier fuel load, fresher tires later in the race.
Very interesting, isn't it? But we know now that the first taker definitely took tars.
Definitely took some tires, I would think, for that pit stop. That is unfortunately information that we don't get in our race control as far as whether they actually did change their tires. It would be another awesome statistic to be able to report on, but we can only guess what they really do in the time that they're in the pits. We can just tell you how long it took them, and we can guess off of that. But
well, did you see Mr. Sir take? I think that might have been Sheen that he got way wide.
He was out there on the curbing for sure. That's a pretty sketchy situation there. But both him and Manning now seem to be struggling with the tires. And Maxie, I think you might have been right. I think Nordstrom's run a little bit higher downforce setup, and he is staying consistent out there while Manning and Sir are starting to drop back and struggle a little bit.
Well, I don't think they don't care. I have a great replay set up here of showing the straight line speed of this Beamer.
Okay, let me see if
We're
we
on
can
board with Spangler here.
pop up the PIP. We can take a look at that.
Well, we're having some technical difficulties here.
Okay, I'm going to take the PIP back away while you get
Yeah.
that straightened out. We will get that to you in just a minute here, folks.
Yeah, let's take a look. It's still all the way back.
Dudley, if you want to go ahead and switch over on the live feed to Spangler and Mercer here, he is about to have an overtake.
All right, yep,
He was
I will
all
get
over the map.
right there. And Spangler gave up that position to Mercer when he got a little wide, and it seems like he wants it back.
They were side by side down that straightaway, and it just seems like Spangler wants this position back.
We got more takers.
Well, looks like Dominic Duran is throwing a yellow flag here, and it does not look like a good position to park a car in, if you ask me. Let's see if we can go back and look at what happens here. Probably that same issue that we've been talking about. Oh, he gets a little wide. That corner is so easy to get wide on, and the car, hard hit to the wall. Thankfully, no other drivers collected as he slides back across the track, and he does the wise thing here of just waiting and not trying to pull back into traffic with these extremely fast D1 drivers making their way by. He did slide all the way to 15th position. Oh, Mr. Sir trying the undercut tonight, so we'll see the effectiveness of the undercut.
Crown is in. Spangler's in. Sir is in. The game is afoot now.
No question. Nixon also dropped some positions during all of that. I didn't really see what happened. I thought he was pitting, but he didn't pit. I'm going to see if I can go back and look at what happened here. I didn't see a yellow flag on his car, so I don't think he went off track. Maybe he just got held up by guys going into the pit lane. I'm not really sure. It was just showing him losing positions, but maybe it was a glitch in my telemetry. But we get a nice replay of him guiding that Beamer around in this little gaggle. And this whole course kind of stays a gaggle the whole time. Very small track here. And we got Flamger just overtook Escorcia back here. Let's see if we can catch that overtake replay. Sure enough, he gets inside of him on this very tricky left-hander and just gets a better run out. The two McLarens matched with that straight line speed, but he gets the better of him out of that corner.
And for those of you who had, when we would use the word gaggle the first time, if you had 24 minutes, then you are a winner.
You're the winner, indeed. I got to slide it in there. I actually heard that on an F1 broadcast the other day. The final broadcast of the season, he used gaggle twice.
I heard it too. So we have a yellow for Schwartz.
Nordstrom is in the pits right now. And just to bring everyone up to speed, Sturwis stopped 31 seconds, 55-second pit stop. Let's see if Nordstrom can match that.
They're all in. Mercer in, Nordstrom in, Escoria's in, Nixon's in, Majid is in, Ryder's in. Looks like pre-halfway is exactly what everybody's doing. I would have thought they'd have waited till 30 minutes, but they're all dipping in early. Did everybody go a little light on fuel?
Trying to get that jump off the start, going a little bit light on fuel.
Uh-huh.
Looks like Nordstrom gained some excellent track position here. He is up 3 seconds right now over Sir.
There's so much going on. I know it sounds like we're fumbling over each other. This is because there's so much going on. Knowing who's pitting, Barrera's in. There's a lot of stuff turning over right now. Velez still in. So it's moving. Griffith's in. The question is happening. It's not like we have these 1 second pit stops where you can easily see who's coming out and who's coming in and who's going to what it's going to look like coming out of the pits. We don't know yet. The question is Manning going to put down some really hot laps while the other two are pitting? I don't think he can.
So Manning's out front. He's not putting down fantastic laps while he's out there.
He's not. This is not helping. He's got to answer this.
Yeah.
He can't stay out there like this. However, though, the problem is he's going to come out behind him and he's never going to be able to pass him because you can't pass so easy here. The undercut's still the way to go. Manning stayed out too long, I think. But it all depends on who hit their pit stalls just right. But I still think the other two are, I think Nordstrom and Sir are going to, I think Sir's going to pass him, and Nordstrom's going to stay ahead of him, is the way this is going to work out.
So Nordstrom must have gotten right on a 30-second pit stop, because he gained over Sir in that pit stop situation, and it now has over a second lead back to him. Well, but yeah, a gap over him. They're in 15th and 16th, but yeah, as you're saying, Manning out front is probably losing time to those guys on their fresher tires right now. We've yet to see what their lap times are, but I got to assume they're going to push right back down to those high 129, low 23 times. Perhaps more fuel for the second half of the race, taking a little bit easier on the tires, but still.
Very bizarre.
It's not going to matter. Well, it's not going to matter that Manning has got a little bit better tires at the end, because he's going to be in third, and it's not going to be enough for him to get by him. He's just going to be frustrated by being able to get up on their bumper. Like I say, getting to him is one thing, pass him's another.
Look at this gaggle, folks. We got McLaren so close together. He can't fit a piece of paper between those bumpers. And then behind them, we got the Aston Martin of Majid. And yeah, it's pretty tight, this whole section here. I can't tell. Did these guys pit already? I think all these guys pitted already as well.
They have. They're already in and out. Mitchie's got a 30-second penalty. Ah, gee.
Oh,
he's back in.
Stop and go 30. Must have sped in the pit lane.
So, speaking of those pit stops for Sir and Nordstrom, both of them had 31 seconds stopped. Nordstrom had 54 seconds total time in the pit lane. Sir had 55 seconds total time in the pit lane. And if we go right now to Nordstrom's gap to Manning, it is 56 seconds. This is going to be tight.
He can't stay out, can he? He's got to come in before it gets any worse.
Yeah, he would have to do something. I would have to think, like, there's no way they can not do that. So,
notice this Lamborghini is the one that's holding the crowd up here. It's weighted down. He can't get away from him. We have the other Lamborghinis in right now, but
Majid gets wide out back. The Beamer pulls alongside. Sorry to cut you off, Andrew, but there's action all over this gaggle. The Beamer up front pulls alongside the Lamborghini.
Now he's going to get him. See, the Lamborghini's helpless.
He went to pits too. He said, "I'm out of this gaggle. I can't hang."
It weighs 47,000 pounds. He can't stay ahead of him.
That's O'Brien headed to the pit lane.
Rejoining right here. This is.
Oh man, what an action-packed race!
Yeah. So you want to go D1 racing?
Yeah. Geez, so tight through the hairpin. It looks like back there. What is it? Majid. O'Brien got inside of Majid. Oh no!
Oh. And the guys in front of him are all off. They're all off wide too. Here comes the pass.
O'Brien coming through.
Here comes the pass. Oh wow. See, there's your bump, and there's
over under what? But then
there's your.
And he gets into the back room in this next corner as well. Geez, what a. That's not the best moment for either one of those drivers, unfortunately.
Bye, Felicia.
All right, we got Manning has finally hit the pit lane from the lead, so he is in the pit. Let's see where he is going to come out. Now, is he going
to be close? He's coming out of the pits right now.
And it looks like Nordstrom has already overtaken him. Does he get out in front of Sir? Oh, and she's in the background. We got the Lamborghini coming out the pits as well. And we're pretty much right back to the same running order we were, folks. Just a little bit more spread apart. We got Nordstrom out front and Manning in second and Mr. Sir in third place of the pitted cars there. All the cars in front of them, I believe, are yet to pit.
The chat's hopping tonight.
Yeah, thanks for being with us tonight, guys.
Yeah, let's get rowdy out here.
We are back, and looks like Brooker, Quigg, and Vasquez lost a couple positions back here. I think they might have been pitting, perhaps. I wasn't sure, but shout out to Brooker Quigg here anyway, and the Mercedes looking good with that livery. And He's holding down 20th position right now.
Well, the race is afoot. It starts at the 6th position with Nordstrom right now. And I tell you, you who's watching this probably from afar is Ed Kerstetter going, doggone it, would somebody please get past Nordstrom?
Yeah,
so that
no
we're not
doubt.
we're not sitting dead level next week after these drop races work themselves out. So would somebody please? Here comes the rest of almost the rest of your leaders are coming in. Louis and Simons are still out there, but Williams, Wilson, Durant's all coming in. Yeah, and Ed somewhere saying, "Can I not get a break?"
Yeah, no kidding.
Nordstrom says, "Absolutely not."
Absolutely not. We had a question in the chat for our lap times. So currently we're running low 123s out of Nordstrom and Sir. Manning's last lap time, we don't have a good one because he just pitted on that lap, so it looks slower than he actually would be going. We got a little bit of action here as Lehman tries to overtake O'Brien here, and he seems to be all over the back of that Lamborghini with his Mercedes.
Speaking of lap times here, Nordstrom must be incredible at warming up his tires because he already has 2 seconds over Manning. And yes, they did, exit the pits there, a little close to each other, but he is just motoring away from Manning right now.
Yeah, and now Louis, from first position, he decides to pit. So we're Nordstrom, Manning, and Sir are quickly cycling back up to the top of the running order as everybody cycles through their pit stops. More of a typical kind of pit stop window that we see from our other forms of racing here, as opposed to our wait till the last minute for the leaders strategy we normally see with the 1 second splash and dash or 1 liter splash and dash strategy we normally see. So this is definitely making things more exciting here.
Not that I'm driving a Lamborghini tomorrow night or anything, but I'm looking at the lap times of the Lamborghinis and just getting a little sad.
Yeah, they're struggling around this track for sure. They are very heavy.
Yikes.
Manning now putting in a 123.4. But yeah, I agree. It seems like perhaps, I don't know, do you guys think he's going to have the advantage towards the end of the race by having a little bit fresher tires? I don't think it's going to matter. You can't pass a guy without being 2 seconds quicker on this track.
Absolutely. I don't think it's going to matter.
He's just going to get frustrated because if he weren't there, he could go by him. But because he's there, he's going to end up having to hit the brakes. He's not going to like it. But there's nothing he can do about it.
We got another question.
Just undercut every week.
We got another question in the chat as the total pit time. So the total time stopped. In a perfect stop, we've seen 31 seconds. That's what Nordstrom did. Everybody else most people seem to be doing it in 32. So Nordstrom must have hit it just right to get a 31. And your total time lost in the pit lane is 54 seconds.
Yep. 60 for me. Because the pit crew's got to come out, bring out the dolly, move the car, and then and tell me how bad I did. Yeah. The chat max is 65 for me, but it's closer to that for me too. So, but it's settling down a little bit with all our leaders. There's some guys that are all within half a second of each other. There's certainly some gaggling going on back there, but everybody seems to have kind of found their place in the world. And it's man against track. It's like being in a boxing ring with the track and looking around and seeing these other drivers there. It's like, what are you doing here? I'm fighting the track. Get out of the way.
All right, guys, I'm going to tell you something real quick. In the speed trap, we have multiple cars tied for the highest speed at 248 kilometers an hour. And I want you all to tell me what they have in similar. Aston Martin, BMW, Aston Martin, Mercedes, another Mercedes.
The engine's in the front.
Yes. Just what we mentioned in the beginning is how in the world are those front engine cars staying? How are they fast? You'd think that's not what you want here because the weight's in the wrong place, but it ain't the way.
Caught some live action here as Walker tries to force his way around Majid. Does eventually get the overtake done, but boy, Majid might feel a little bit sore after that one. That was not the nicest overtake I've seen in a D1 race.
Wow. It's like Steve Matchett from the old American Formula One coverage. He would say it was all about where you put the lump. You got to get the lump low and in the rear. And he called the engine the lump. He said, when you're the engineer like me, doing the aero stuff, he said, I don't care about horsepower. I want to know where'd you put my weight.
Yeah, it is all about the weight transfer and the weight balance of the car, especially on a track like this with a lot of elevation change. Almost every corner you're dealing with going up or downhill through the corner on the apex in the braking zones. There's a lot of undulation in the track as we watch Crown here get real close to the back end of good, as that McLaren is actually chasing down a BMW, which is unusual with the setup we have tonight.
It's all about the weight, no aero. Somebody throw out a song.
17th and 18th right now between Vasquez and Cran. The Audi does not look to be losing hardly anything down the straightaways, but under braking. Cran just seems like he can get on the brakes so much later, turn that Audi in much quicker, and might have an overtake possibility coming up to the front straightaway.
Yeah, as we flip over to that, he is one of our closest gaps on the track right now. Silver driver pushing a gold driver around the track here.
You know, they always say pressure can make diamonds, but it'll also burst pipes, so maybe that's what the grand strategy is here.
There isn't a whole lot of passing going on. There's a whole lot of pressure happening.
This is definitely a track that you can benefit from that.
Oh, no, we had some contact there.
Put pressure on the driver in front of you and he will make a mistake, and that is the way to overtake him. But yeah, a little bit of contact between our drivers. Seem to have sorted it out and kept it on track at least.
Yeah, so that was actually Druids. I think that was Maxie's call for tonight for bad stuff happening.
Commentator's curse, I suppose.
There you go. Hey, you called it. It'd be bad stuff at Druids, and there it was.
I tell you though, that contact just brought another gaggle into play here. We have 4 cars all battling for that P17 spot.
Simon's finally in the pits. I think he's the last of our takers. I think he is the last of our takers. He made it almost 39 minutes.
That's a large departure from our usual pit strategy. Where's the Audi?
Well, he was hanging it out there in Clark Corner. He was hanging it just about as far off the corner. He had like one toenail still on the curb hanging on. One more toenail, and he would have been gone forever.
Cars have toenails? I didn't know that.
That one did. That was he was digging his toenail in.
It's interesting, this forced to be in the pit lane it stopped for 25 seconds. It definitely has changed our normal strategy. Normally, we would never see all the drivers having pitted with 20 minutes still left to go in the race. But tonight, being forced into that strategy, it appears, we got everybody through the pit lane. We got 20 minutes of racing action left. So now it's a straight fight. Wherever you come out now, there's no more pit strategy. You just are out there to drive the car. The crew chief, you tell him to shut up. There's enough fuel. I don't need to hear from you. I just am going to drive and try to beat the guy in front of me.
You got what you got. Or you get what you get. Don't pitch a fit. I think it's what my wife says. But, so we've still got Manning's actually brought that down to 1.2 seconds. Sir, 3.7 seconds back. Yeah, I tell you what, you know who's been absolutely stealthy? Dromo, Audi.
Yeah, we mentioned a little bit. He was quick in qualifying. I just did a quick replay of Lehman here. He lost a position. It seemed like he must have gotten wide and just lost quite a bit of speed there for a second. He's got cars trying to go around him left and right back there. He's still maintaining 4th place, though, right now. And, Dromo moving all the way up to 4th place after the pit stops. I believe he was tagging down in 7th or 8th before. Let me see if I can look. He's overall, since the beginning of the race, he's only improved 1 position. So he did qualify in 5th, but our big mover...
It feels sneaky, though.
Yeah.
It feels sneaky, yeah.
It's always those guys in 7th, 8th, 9th place that, you know, they don't, it's not like you're top, you know, the front 3 rows. So it's not like we're watching that close. And then next thing you know, they make a few good choices and they're right there. Another driver to mention who is one of our top movers on the grid is Walker here, is up 10 positions since the start of the race. And he is having a very clean run. He's holding down 9th right now with a large gap behind him. So Majid and Griffith fighting behind him there is helping that for sure.
Yeah, Barrera also 6th place in the really, really heavy McLaren. And he's stalking down Mercer. He's been stealthy. He's stealthy every week. He does this every week. But you know, let's talk team stuff for a second. Mercer and Nixon running 5th and 8th. You know, those 2 BMWs just keep running top 10s, top 5s. They keep putting in the points, and as a team, when it's all over with, they don't have any bad finishes. Very interesting.
I just want to bring again to everyone's attention the gap, the Beamer that Mercer is driving, the gap he just pulled down that main straightaway over Barrera is just incredible. It was about 2/10 going into the corner, and by the end of the straightaway, it was almost 6/10.
Yeah, Barrera was having to go around the Lamborghini. I believe that's of Schwartz there. I believe he's kind of running with possibly a little bit of damage even maybe, and just struggling with the car this evening. So we've seen him off the track a couple of times. I believe he's quite a ways down the order. I believe that's the number 11 of Schwartz. We can find out here. But yeah, I believe that's him right there, and unfortunately not having the best race of his life, but in 35th place right now. We've lost a couple more drivers. We're down to 36 running cars in the server now on the field.
Well, I'll tell you what Maxie was talking about with speed traps. You know, those Porsches are still 243 in the speed trap. Those BMWs are now BMWs and the Mercedes are at 249. So now the fuel's getting a little lower, and we see who's got power.
Yeah. Speaking of speed and power, thank you, Jeremy Clarkson. Michael Manning has just put in another 122.940 lap. So he's dipping back into the 122s, trying to push to close that gap to Nordstrom in the lead, which he is under a second now. He's brought it under a second now to Nordstrom in the lead. So he is trying to chase him down, and we'll see. It looks like Nordstrom even invalidated on his last lap and was not as quick. He was about 3/10 slower. So let's see if... Wow, Manning closed the gap quite a bit here.
It's really struggling under braking.
So let's see what we talked about now, because now you've got Manning on slightly better tires. He's got it down to half second. Is he just going to get frustrated, or is he going to make it happen? Now Adam just mentioned it too. He just closed 3/10 that lap. Oh, it's even 4/10 now, and you can watch it. He's got line of sight on him, and I don't know if he can make this pass or not.
It's going to be tough to make the pass.
Get your popcorn. Here it comes.
Nordstrom, if he parks that Porsche perfectly, there's not going to be any way around it. But if he makes the slightest mistake, Manning's jumping on it.
I completely agree, Dudley. I just think there's about 15 minutes to go here in the race. Can Nordstrom handle the pressure of just seeing Manning appear in his windshield, or excuse me, his rear view? And it's a little different of a scenario now. At the start of the race, you have the whole race ahead of you. You can maintain your cool. But as we come to the end here, you know there's a win on the table. Things get a little more tense. You're just more likely to make a mistake.
Just look how much quicker that Honda is into that hairpin than that Porsche. I can't believe how much he catches them under braking right there. He might have an overtake opportunity into that corner if he gets just a little bit closer.
Now, we mentioned earlier, it's that back half between Westfield and Sterling's is where you think you can make it happen. And I'm going to go back there at that well one more time and say 6, 7, and 8 is where Manning's going to try to make it happen. Let's see if he's like me and can't make it happen and end up in the wall, or if he's going to pull it off.
We're gonna
It's
keep
3/10 now.
we're gonna keep an eye on this battle, but I want to split back. We still have this large train from about 13th all the way back to 19th in the middle of the pack here, and these guys have just been battling, sliding, banging, and continuing to fight for position throughout the evening. Yeah, we want to shout to you guys. Great racing back there. Way to keep it clean for most of the evening as well. We've seen a little bit of pushing and shoving, but that's pretty much what you have to do if you're going to try to overtake on this track. It's really hard to just do a 100% clean overtake unless the guy in front of you makes a mistake. Nate Sprecht making a good run back here on Simmons. Yeah, and he does try to make it stick into that high speed. He forced him outside, and sure enough, he slides it through underneath the Porsche.
You know, that was really good racing by Simmons right there. He saw the car coming, gave him some room. Yes, he lost the position, but that's good, clean racing
just
right
as
there.
I was saying, they were keeping it clean in that 15th through 18th position. I cursed Flamger here, and I'm betting he caught the inside here and just ended up skidding out wide.
Oh, here it comes. Here it comes.
Come to the lead. Come to the lead.
Here it comes.
We have
Oh,
Manning
I'm
making a
stuck.
move.
I'm
Here it
stuck in a
comes.
replay.
Here it comes.
All right.
Looking on the outside. Now you're back.
Coming back to the inside here. Oh.
See if we can go
I
back
think
20
Nordstrom's
seconds
just
here.
on the verge of cracking here.
See if we can catch this now as we are looking over top of Manning. I'm going to bring up the pip. If you want to bring up an in-car of
So
of
right
that.
now we're riding on board with Manning in the pit.
There you go. Now you're seeing what you're seeing you're seeing the whole race right here, right in front of you in the PIP. He keeps looking left and looks right, and Nordstrom's having none of it. He's just planting it right in the driver's line and saying, "Yeah, no, you go find somewhere else to drive."
Now this is the corner that he's been catching him massively under braking. Let's see what he does
Ladies and
here.
gentlemen, watch this at home. Right up to his bumper. And on exit, though, that Porsche just ekes out just enough. But let's see if
That's
Manning
it.
had something for him down the straightaway.
We
It's
have a
got
battle
grunt.
for the lead, folks.
It's got grunt coming out of corners. I mean, it doesn't have the top end speed, but it's getting out of the corners fast enough that you can't get to him at the end of the
It's
straightaway.
so much closer to that apex, though. I just can't help but think.
Yeah.
Simon's losing
Gonna
more
have him.
positions back here in this gaggle. Sorry, I'm going to cut away for just a second. We've got this battle shaken up back here further. We'll continue to monitor that in the pip up front as we watch the gap for the lead. But these guys are racing side by side around the whole track here at Brands Hatch, which is almost impossible to do. And sure enough, they do make contact, but fortunately it has not ended in tears for anybody yet. They've all kept it pretty much on the track. We've seen some shuffles in positions, though. What caught my attention is Simons was losing position further. He lost like 2 or 3. I don't know if he got wide, but he seems to be struggling all around. I don't know if he's got a little damage on the car or if he didn't change tires or what. But you could see how much he was sliding in that corner compared to Flamger behind him, and Flamger's getting a good run on him. But you can also see the speed of that Porsche down the straight over the McLaren. He makes it back up. The McLaren is just powerless to do anything against it. Jumping back to our lead battle.
Yes, how's it every night? This is our 5th one of these things, and every stinking race, the battle up front is so good you can't take your eyes off of it.
That's what makes good racing, though, right? I mean, it's
Good
not
night.
like a Formula One race this season where a certain driver was always up front.
Here he comes.
Manny's got the run
Here
on
comes, here
him, going
comes.
for the outside. There's
I don't
no
think
way
you
you're
can
going to
make
make
it
an overtake outside there. But if he keeps Nordstrom from getting a good entry, he can do the over/under, get a good run into the next
Stick
corner.
his nose somewhere in.
Oof. He is trying like crazy. So we will see if he can get it done. If he makes that overtake on this course, that will be one heck of a race win. Can't wait to talk to both these guys after this race with this battle going on.
Anthony
It's gonna
keeps
be
mentioning it, though. The battles going on throughout the field. These big gaggles of guys, 4 and 5 cars all within a second of each other. I feel so bad we can't give them the coverage they deserve because, first and second are up here nose to tail.
They're killing each other up there.
We've got still this big gaggle back here, and it seems like every time I glance down the standings, oh, there's another position shift down there. So I try to catch it, but it's like you said, we can't take our eyes off the leader because we don't want to miss the action up there. Gomer Wilson also very close behind Brooker Quigg here. Lehman close behind Dan Cran. Flamger, Louie, and Good here very close together. Been just kind of sticking close to each other all night. But it seems like Simmons, he must be having some kind of issue. He's been dropping positions consistently here for a few laps. And he seems to be kind of a moving roadblock out there for a lot of the guys.
Yeah, so we got some guys in the chat that are talking. Jumpy and Adam are both talking about the tire deg on both the Honda and the Porsche. They got 8 minutes. They got about 9 minutes, including the extra half lap left to go. They don't have anything left on those tires. Is somebody going to get sideways? They're running 23.7 and 23.6.
Yeah.
Is
that what we're seeing on Nordstrom as well? Is it Nordstrom's tires giving up quicker than the Hondas? But I don't know. Manning might have pushed too hard there. He's Nordstrom's opened back a little bit gap. Manning had to have been pushing pretty hard to try to get that overtake. He might have used up the tires too early, but we'll see if he can make another run at it.
Cool him down. Wow.
Something also of note here is that the last lap by these drivers, Manning set the fastest lap of the race. Nordstrom invalidated.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we don't have the information right now of how many track cuts that Nordstrom has, but he needs to keep it tidy here to make sure that he doesn't get one of those stop and go 30s.
Yeah.
Now, are we going to get Nordstrom and Manning tangling? Is Mr. Sir going to walk across the line with a win?
Oof.
Ooh.
Wow.
You heard it here first.
All right.
You heard it here. They're not too good for that.
That's official commentator's curse there. That's official.
Yeah, I mean, they're all too good for that stuff. I'm just saying, I'm just spicing it up a little bit. Nah.
Yeah, they wouldn't. I don't think they're going to be that uncautious with taking out a first and second position finish with both these guys doing really well in the point standings. And on an evening when they don't have Ed Kerstetter just come in and steal the points from them.
Absolutely.
They're not going to jeopardize that.
Nope. But crazier things have happened, and we're bringing the show.
Yeah.
So hyping it up, no matter how crazy it sounds.
I gotta say though, if Manning was going to make right under braking right there. Right now we're in the picture-in-picture. We're on board with Nordstrom, just looking off his rear wing, seeing what he is seeing in that rear view. But going back to my previous comment, I think if Manning was going to make what's the word I'm looking for, is an unadvised move, it would have been a couple laps ago when he had the outside and could have switched back on the inside and forced the issue, but
he may have it again.
We are seeing Griffith, Nordstrom's teammate, getting challenged by a Lamborghini of all things. O'Brien here, all over the back end of Griffith, which, is the tire deg that bad on those Porsches that even the Lambos are able to challenge them now, which we've seen the Lambos struggling for most of the evening. That car just seems to be very heavy around this track. Doesn't want to be very competitive, but seems to be coming alive here towards the closing laps.
The engine braking of the Lamborghini very well could help it under braking with its tire degradation and kind of hide some of those issues that would have with less grip.
He even seems to be getting some good runs on the Porsche down the straightaway as well. Now he closed the gap. Oh, and Griffith gets a little wide there, but seems to save it and doesn't lose a ton of time. Manning's back up very close on the bumper at Nordstrom. Let's see if he can make a move here down these.
Every time they get through Druids.
Well, exactly is I think Manning this time, he didn't come as close. He was trying to position his car just to be right on the rear wing of Nordstrom. Doesn't look like it's going to pay off for him here, but he definitely has some racecraft here to try to get around him because it's not going to be brute force around Brands Hatch.
It's a chess match right now to figure out where he needs to lead the car back a little bit to get a good run on a place where there's actually an overtaking opportunity. And it could be right here in the final two corners. If he gets these ones right, oh, he was a little bit wider on the apex there than Nordstrom was. But boy, are they close as they come into the closing corners. And, man, Nordstrom is giving that Porsche all the beans he has in that right foot to try to stay in front of Manning right now.
We hear F1 drivers talk about it all the time, is when you set up an overtake, it's usually not the lap you do the overtake, is the lap before, maybe the lap before that. And you start to position your car in an area to where you're making the guy in front of you put his car in an area where it's not as good.
Yeah.
They got lap traffic. Uh-oh.
Yeah, this could spice things up. We got about 3 minutes left here to decide this race, folks. And it's not over by any means.
I mean, they're going to get out of the way because they're professional drivers. But is that going to...
It might throw Nordstrom off.
Yeah. This track, there's not very many places to quickly get out of the way that both drivers can make it through and doesn't totally kill the driver who's having to pull over his time.
Yeah, much to watch. I wouldn't take my eyes off this for nothing. There's the blue flags.
The blue flags are also battling for position.
Yeah. I mean, they're pretty close.
Worried about their own race.
No doubt. I believe the blue flag is that good? No. Who is that? Louis?
It probably is. It's the McLaren.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
No, that's not Louis. It's got to be further back. Crown, maybe? Nope. I'm just totally striking out. Ryder? Nope.
Yeah,
there it is. Samito.
Battle for the lead coming down into turn one.
Yep, there it is. The lap traffic did play into it. And
he's going to switch back underneath here.
Oh my goodness, he's right. So close. He's going to get him under braking right here.
He has to.
Oh, Nordstrom goes defensive line and holds the position. So close right there.
Oh, he's looking. Now he's looking. Now he's hunting.
There's blood in the water right now.
No question. That lapped car of I believe that would be Carpenter.
Yeah,
it looks like Ryder.
Ryder. Yep. Sorry about that. Ryder did cause a little bit of mayhem, and it looks like they're still going to have to overtake. Who's in front of Ryder? Samito here.
We will have another lap after this as well, so it's not over yet.
Yeah, we got about 2 laps left, folks. So strap in. I'm willing to bet Michael Manning wants to win this race just about more than anything right now. If he could get back-to-back wins in Division 1 of SRA, that's something to write home about.
We're gonna need a bigger boat. I hear the Jaws theme.
Here he is. He's coming up on the back of that McLaren, the McDonald's livery of the McLaren, and it is gonna throw him off into T1. There's no question about it. It's gonna be, well, he might let him around right here. Is he just gonna brake? Yep.
But it doesn't matter. It still cost him.
And he gets a little wide into T1. Sure enough, Manning closes the gap big time. He's not close enough, though, probably to throw it down the inside here. But, boy, is he getting late into the brakes into that hairpin. One more lap to go after this one, folks, I would say. Or this is it. This is it. Final lap. Guys. I did not see the white flag come out, but I would have to say they have to have gotten it in the cars.
They got 16 seconds to go, and they got about 45 seconds to go this lap.
And he has a great... Oh, he ran too wide.
Got a little wide there. As we look in the PIP off the back of the rear of Nordstrom's car, we're going to ride on the passenger side of Michael Manning's car here as we watch the battle for the lead play out through these final laps. The large gaggle out back, further back for 12 through 17th is still battling back there as well. And we'll see if there's any more developments there. Currently, Pat O'Brien holding at the front of that pack. Or actually, Griffith is. So close to this leader making a move, but I do not believe he's going to have anything for him in the final corner. And we are going to see Travis Nordstrom bring home another win in the SRA Division 1 race here at Brands Hatch. Congratulations to him. What a fantastic race. And
That's 3 for him, isn't it?
Yeah. Just became a diamond if his previous wins hadn't made him one.
And
But
very,
the pressure he was
Mr.
under
Sir,
the entire time.
keeping it, yeah, very much. And Mr. Sir keeping it clean, bringing it home in a third place. Go Dromo, as you said, it's quietly driving along, coming home with a fourth place finish. As I pointed out, he's one of those that I would have watched out for very much so right in the beginning. As far as he's down there in the points, and he is a much faster driver than that. He should be much higher. So then finishing it out here, we've got Mercer, Barrera. A lot of guys are leaving the server very quickly, so I'm not going to have your final standings here very accurately on our screen, unfortunately. Guys are immediately dropping out of the race for some reason tonight rather than hanging around in the server. So our our final standings grid there is a little bit messed up, but all our drivers are slowly making their way across the line. Doesn't look like there's any tight battles all the way to the line, except maybe here. We've got Danny Durant's all up on Simmons as they come through the final corners. And we will start looking for drivers to interview here as the final drivers finish out their race. And
I'll tell you, Robinson, Nordstrom has absolutely earned it every time he's won a race. He has been literally chased within an inch of his life.
No question.
For absolutely, it was like the first race, the third race, and then this one. He's been absolutely chased within an inch of his life. I mean, if you're gonna, dude has earned it.
No question.
Absolutely, I can agree.
Fantastic race action tonight from all of them.
Yeah, earned it. I love it.
Let's see if we can drag some folks into our booth here and just riddle them with all kinds of dumb questions that they don't want to answer. And if we can get that done, that'll be our mission accomplished for the night. So let's see if we can find our race winner. Travis Nordstrom is already in the race chat. We're going to grab him first thing and interview our race winner first thing. Here he comes. Travis Nordstrom, this is Dudley Do-Right up here in the booth. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Hey, thanks for joining us for a quick second here. Fantastic race tonight, man, and congratulations on the win. What did it look like from your perspective? Walk us through it.
Well, it looked like Michael was in my mirror the entire race. That was a rough one.
Yeah,
How did you handle all that pressure? Because he was, like you just said, in your mirror the entire time. We were talking about it on the commentary, but you soaked it up brilliantly.
Yeah, I mean it was rough for sure. I mean he was not making mistakes. Luckily I didn't make any big mistakes either, but he was so much faster out of turn 4, and that's like the only overtaking spot. So it was scary for sure.
How nervous were you there when you came up to lap traffic?
I was yelling at them on the mic. Michael Griffith can attest to that. I kept saying, "Move over, come on!" I wanted to move over when they were like 0.8 seconds away on the straight, on the back straight, and then nobody's gonna do that, but it was still like, "Come on, get out of the way," because I was so worried about them moving over wrong and then giving Michael an opening or something. So.
Well, yeah, congrats, man. Way to handle the pressure, way to just withstand the barrage, the assault. Were you concerned about the fact that, Manning obviously pitted later? Did you feel like he had fresher tires to put more pressure on there at the end?
I think that might have been part of it, but I think he just had a better either a race setup or race trim or whatever. But man, it was like the entire race. So I don't think the tire difference made that big of a deal. But it's hard to say. He was just I think he was faster just the entire race in the race trim.
Yeah, he definitely. I mean, he overtook Sir there in the first corner pretty much for second place, and then Sir just kind of slowly dropped back, but still finished a very respectable third. We'll probably talk to him in a little while. But again, congratulations to you, man. What are your thoughts going towards next week?
What's the track? I can't even remember.
Zandvoort or Zolder?
Zolder.
One of the
Zolder. Okay, Zolder. That's not a great track for the Porsche. That big giant curb in the middle. That's not exactly what the Porsche is good at doing. So we'll see. Right now, I think the BOP is kind of broken for the Porsche. I think we got -30. That's probably going to go away because LFM has 0. So
yeah,
if
it was quick tonight.
Yeah, if we get -30 for that race, I think I'll do fine. But when it gets back to 0, I think it's not going to suit the suspension very well of the Porsche. So we'll see. And I'm doing every other race is good, and the every other is bad. So I did well this race. I think I'm going to do poorly in the next one if the trend continues.
All right, man. Well, great job. Anybody you want to give a shout out to while you're here on your race winning podium?
No, just my teammate Michael. He did he just started practicing today and still pulled out in 11th place. So that's really good for the team.
Yeah, fantastic. Awesome, man. Well, we'll let you get back to the race chat. Thanks for stopping by with us, and we will see you next time.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yep. Congratulations.
All right. Who are we going to grab next? I believe our second place finisher, Michael Manning, is also in the chat. Let's drag him up to the booth and talk to him again after talking to him on a race win last week. Michael Manning, you got Dudley Do-Right, Maxi Poe here in the booth. We just wanted to talk to you about your race. Can you hear us okay?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man. Fantastic result for you in the second place, and it looked like you were a strong challenger for the overall win again there. Walk us through it from your perspective.
Yeah, so going into quali, thought I had pretty decent pace, but knew I wasn't going to be close to Nordstrom. He just had one lap pace that was just insane. But pretty happy with the quali. Knew it would be really challenging if I couldn't get past Mr. Sir on lap 1. So definitely really tried to make that move, and that worked out.
Yeah, that was full send, man. Good job on that opening move.
Rest of the race, just it's brands, it's a tight track, it's British GT. Not much passing to go around, but I did stay out a little bit longer because I was worried about my tires towards the end of the race. And I still had the pace going into the middle of the race, so I stayed out a little bit longer, and that seemed to pay off because as soon as my tires got up to temp after that pit stop, I was flying. I was really happy with my pace.
Yeah, we watched the gap just disappear between you and Nordstrom there after you got the tires up to temp, and his seemed to be falling off just a little bit. What was that your plan from the beginning, to pit a little bit later then?
I just towards the middle. If he wanted to stick out longer, then I would have gone for an undercut then. I just wanted to pit towards the middle. I was worried about tires because the rears just start going away, and it's not a fun time. But yeah, I'm kind of disappointed in myself. I had 3 chances. I had 3 clear chances to go for a move, and that going into T1, really not sure why I went for an undercut, but he covered it, and that was that. I think the move was on if I had tried to stick it around the outside, but it is what it is. Super exciting.
Yeah, it was close, clean racing, man. It was a blast to watch. We pretty much couldn't take the camera off you guys for the whole night. So enjoy rewatching the broadcast if you ever get a chance, because it's got an awful lot of pictures of you. Maxie, what do you got tonight?
You talked about your few chances that you had. I think you played it perfectly. You were a great clean racer tonight. Did you try to square off the corner coming into T2 and hope that maybe he got a little wide and undercut him and be on the outside for turn 3? Or are you just trying to get the overtake done there into turn 1?
I wanted to just get alongside into T2 because I don't know if you guys saw on the broadcast, but I was on his bumper in T2.
Yeah, catching under braking heavy there.
Contact,
and then no matter what you do, you're always 3/10 behind going out of the corner, just because that's how it goes. So if I could have been any closer, like coming out of that corner, then who knows about the rest of the lap. Especially going onto the back straight, I was a lot stronger there. So
yeah, you got alongside him a couple times on the higher speed section of the course.
Yeah, I know the Porsche is just super confident on the full speed stuff here, so pretty tough, but happy with my pace. Just unfortunate, couldn't quite work out.
Yeah, well, great racing, man.
Great racing.
Good second place finish. I mean, nothing's wrong with the second place after a win last week. You're putting yourself in a pretty good position. How do you feel going into next week?
Not excited. Never ever been up to pace on Zolder, so that'll be a little bit more of a sweat fest than usual. But should be fun. I'd expect some mixed up grid spots going into there, because who knows, you might just RNG a bad number and just get a bad quality, because that's how those curbs go. But
That's for sure.
Absolutely. You're
still
always
exciting.
able to lose a half a second if you take a corner wrong. So you couldn't be more right there. But great race tonight.
I appreciate it. I hope to see you guys next week, though.
Yeah, hope to see you again. Second step on the podium this week. First step on the podium last weekend. And anybody you want to give a shout out to as you're standing on your podium?
I'll give Jason Allen a pity shout out, but a shout out nonetheless.
All right, man. We'll send you back to the race chat. Thanks for joining us for a little bit. We don't want to take any more of your time, and hopefully we'll see you again next week.
Appreciate it. See you guys later.
All right. That's our first and second place. Who are we going to get next? I believe our third place would be Mr. Sir. I don't see him currently in the oh, there he is in the chat. And we can grab him and bring him in here. Let's interview our third place finisher and see what he thinks about that first turn overtake.
Probably not as excited about it as Michael Manning.
Mr. Sir, welcome to the booth. You got Dudley Do-Right and Maxie Poe here. Can you hear us okay?
Hey, all. Yeah, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you sound great. Thanks for joining us in the booth for a quick second. Sorry to pull you out of the post-race action over there, but we wanted to get your perspective on this race as you finished third place.
As small as the track is, it's quite lonely. That first stint, action-packed. Was hoping that Menning and Nordstrom would fight a little bit more. But yeah, just didn't get lucky there. But yeah, and then the second stint, I had no business being in the top two. Those guys were way beyond any pace I could do. So happy with the result nonetheless.
Yeah, it was impressive pace out of our leaders for sure. What did you how did you feel about, first corner? You obviously, Manning, he admitted during his interview that he knew he needed to get around you first thing. Were you thinking the same thing? Like, man, I got to keep this guy behind me, or what was your thinking there?
No, I was telling the guys back at Championship Motorsports that I was going to be screwed off the start. That's just something you have to accept. And the AMR, it just has no pull in first gear. So yeah, turn one, made the decision right then and there that let's get the slip off Menning. Let's let him work and hopefully work Nordstrom into a difficult position where I could capitalize. But yeah, just didn't get lucky tonight.
Well, great job maintaining third place, man. Maxie, what do you got for Mr. Sir?
Well, I just had to say there for the first stint, I mean, you were all over Manning. And then in the second stint, the pace didn't seem to be quite there. Was there some tire warm-up issue that you experienced, or were you just more focused on running a clean race and getting those points in third place?
Yeah, it was just outlap didn't go well on the second stint, and then not having the slip definitely hurt. So I don't know if it was all slip or maybe I overpressured a little bit on tires, but yeah, I don't really have an answer. I'm trying to find that myself. Just no pace in that second stint.
Well, again, good job bringing home third place. You're standing on the third step of the podium. Anybody you want to give a shout out to as you're standing on your podium here?
Yeah, shout out to Faz, all the Championship Motorsports guys, all the help and that I get from that crew. So it's a big help to get where I'm at. So appreciate all those guys.
Awesome. What are you and your team looking at heading into Zolder next week?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Aston's day in the sun is over, unfortunately. What used to be a decent track for the AMR is no longer. You really need functional suspension for Zolder, and this car just doesn't have it anymore. But I think the team, AMG guys are definitely going to benefit, and the McLaren should as well. So should be a good result for the team, and we'll scrap anything we can, us Aston boys.
Fantastic, man. Well, thanks for spending some time with us here in the booth. Congratulations again on third place finish, and we'll send you back to the race chat and not take any more of your time up. Hopefully, see you next week.
All right, thank you, boys.
All right, congratulations.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Actually, I know we normally only do 3 interviews, but I really want to pull our 4th place finisher in here too. Coadromo had a fantastic but quiet race, and let's just pull him up here for a quick second and get his perspective on the thing. Hey, Coadromo, this is Dudley Do-Right and Maxi Poe here in the booth. Just wanted to get your perspective on the race. Can you hear us all right?
Yeah, what's up, guys? Wasn't expecting to get pulled up here.
Yeah, we decided to do an extra interview tonight because we just it was one of those nights where I mentioned to you early on in the broadcast because I was like, man, I know he's lower in the points, but I know he's going to be making a run for it here in the second half of the season. And sure enough, you pull out a 4th place. So thanks for making my broadcasting look awesome. And just wanted to get a little bit of your perspective on what it felt like for you out there today.
It all went pretty smooth, surprisingly, because the practice race yesterday, I got a drive-through for track limits within like 15 minutes,
Oof.
and then I also spun out going into the pit lane. So yeah, I think I just insta quit last night because I was so frustrated with it. So to come out here, I mean, I made like one small bobble or like 1 or 2, but for the most part, it was real clean. And yeah, just like I said, it was kind of surprising. I just didn't mess up too bad.
Yeah,
Well, to get the pace out of the Audi that you have was incredible. Did you experience any issues with tire drag there in the first stint? Because it seemed like you had incredible pace, and then there towards your pit stop, it seemed to kind of drift away from you.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably around the 38-minute mark. I kind of noticed the tires starting to go. And I know some other people pitted early, but I had such clean air that I wanted to stay out somewhat late. But yeah, once I started to feel the tires go at like the 35-minute mark, I was like, all right, might as well just go in and pit and then try to keep track position and just deal with it at the end. But yeah, the second stint, luckily I built up enough of a gap to Mercer to where I didn't have to push too hard. Just the whole time I'm just telling myself, keep it smooth, keep it smooth. Just let's not throw this away. And yeah, that's pretty much how it went.
Yeah, nice work, man. And yeah, you were one of our last pitters of the race. Everybody got there. It was different,
Oh, really?
different than we've usually seen. Everybody got their pit stops done with 20 minutes left in the race. With this 25-second mandatory stop, it really changed the dynamic of things. It was great to watch. Great job, man, bringing it home 4th place. That'll jump you up in the point standings quite a bit. And how you feeling going into Zolder next week?
Ooh, I mean, I love Zolder. I did pretty good the last time we ran it, but that was in my beloved Porsche. And the Audi, like I'm glad I'm getting to drive it, but it's not my jam. Like I did some public races in Zolder, and that was it the first chicane, the with like the ski jump on it.
Yeah, the ski jump. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Like I don't know how that's gonna go down, so I have to do a bit of practice for that one. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
the Audi definitely does not like curbs. I used to race the Audi, and I can
Yeah.
agree with you. It does not like curbs. So I'm anxious to see how you do next week. I think you'll do great. You had great consistency and great pace tonight, so
Yeah,
I think you'll
appreciate
be
it.
all right.
All right,
Yeah, I
man.
hope
We'll
so.
let you get back to the race chat. Thanks so much for joining us for a little while, and hopefully we'll see you again next week.
For sure. Thank you, guys.
All right. He's moved back to the race chat, and we are concluding our broadcast this evening. Final thoughts, Maxie. What did you think about the action tonight?
I thought it was terrific. D1 never fails to give us a great show on a Tuesday night.
Hey,
Andrew,
before
what did you think about the action tonight?
I shall tell you, if you got a sec, before we hop out, we've got Fozzie Magee finished second in silver. He's in D1 chat.
I would love to hear what he says about the Aston Martin. If we got just a second to bring him in.
Yeah. Let's pull him in here for just a second. He's second silver driver.
Yep. The
You
other
want to
two
go ahead,
silver podium.
go ahead and take the interview with him here, Andrew, as I drag him in. He's coming in now.
We've got Fazli Majid in the booth with us.
Hello.
All right. That's a second place in silver. How'd you like it in the Aston Martin this week?
Oh, I loved it. Actually, coming in this week, I've been away for the past 2 weeks, and I just pretty much arrive and drive. Surprised myself with qualifying. Original plan was actually just to help out my teammate, Mr. Sir, but because of my kind of decent qualifying, I figured I'd try to get a good result for myself. I'm pretty happy. I got a P10, so few trains that I was in and a little bit of door banging. So we'll see what happens after that. But it was pretty fun.
That should put you right back up there with Simons for the lead in silver, shouldn't it? We'll have to see how the points work out. That might bring you right back even with him.
I'm not sure. I've missed a couple of races, so we'll see what happens. But definitely up for it.
That's why. How'd you like the front end cars versus the mid engine cars this week at Brands Hatch? We were talking about front versus mid because it was all over the place, and the front engine cars did great in the beginning of the race and faded toward the end. What'd you see with it?
Yeah, so personally, I've driven a few cars here: the Lambo, the Ferrari, and the Aston here, and I think the Aston's definitely the most forgiving. Over the race duration, anyway, you can make a few mistakes and it's okay. It doesn't kill you if you hit the curb the wrong way. Yeah, and I think with the tires as well, I think it hold up. I saw a bunch of people around me, like Michael Griffith, Spangler, and stuff. They were going off track, and yeah, I think I was just trying to keep it on track, and it worked out.
Good stuff. Well, that was a great race. Finishing second in silver in this crowd is not so bad. So great stuff. Well, thanks for joining us in the booth for a second, and I want to hand it back to our play-by-play and our color analyst Dudley and Maxie to bring us home. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Hey, you got it.
Yeah, thanks, Fozzie. Congrats, man. We'll move you back to the other chat. All right, guys. Concluding thoughts there, Andrew, on this race overall.
Well, we learned a lot. For those of us who are racing this thing tomorrow, we learned a lot about when to pit. We know we're taking tires, and we know you can't make any mistakes. If you stay clean, good things might happen. If you don't stay clean, bad things are gonna happen.
No doubt about it. Well, that's concluding our broadcast for the night, guys. And thank you to Maxie Poe and Andrew Anderson here in the booth with me. Thanks to all the guys at SRA that make things happen for all this awesome racing action we get a chance to participate in as we look on to these D1 broadcasts. And we just have a few other people to thank as well as we head out the door here. We are going to thank our SRA sponsors and title sponsors for supporting us here at SRA, as well as support from Documise, a modern business solution for product management. Go to documise.com to learn more today, and we also have support from Retro Saga, a North American-based gaming company that provides accessories for your favorite classic systems, including Nintendo, Sega, PlayStation, and much more. Enhance your retro gaming experience today at retrosaga.ca. We also want to throw a big thank you out to our affiliates. Track Racer. Experience redefined gaming with Track Racer's high-quality sim rigs and accessories. Use code SRATE at checkout to support us. Also to Armentario, a toolbox for ACC that will enhance your chance to win. Enjoy a fully customizable and enhanced heads-up display to change the way you experience ACC. Another shout out to Go Setups, premium esports setups for everyone. Use our affiliate link on our Discord and take your drive to the next level. One more big shout out to everybody here in the SRA community and all the viewers that joined us in chat. Thanks so much for being with us tonight. We look forward to seeing you next week. And that's a wrap. See you later, folks.